Every 13 days she run to the hoodoo man.
Yay!
Every 13 days she run to the hoodoo man. Lord, I swear to my soul, y'all, things just ain't the same. It's so lonesome, and it's so sad and blue down here on this other lake. Ain't nobody around no more.
It's the universal beat. It's about the rhythm of the heart.
One summer day, she went away.
It's a world you have to be in and experience for a while to understand that it draws you in.
Basically, we found comfort in it, you know. We could work hard all day and come home and say, just leave me alone and let me feel my blues.
Because I'm sitting on top of the world.
Those feelings are real. Sometimes you feel hard. You don't want to keep them. You got to let them go.
The blues have been called the original American art form, but it's also one of America's unlikely survival stories. 100 years ago, people were run out of town for playing the blues. Devil's music, or cornfield music, they called it. The illiterate blacks who sang it never imagined it would become the root of all popular music and capture the essence of the black experience along the way.
You ain't no beg for a nickel. Oh, Lord, to put in the telephone.
It's like a history lesson. To understand truly that really be a student of the blues is to be a student of American culture. Because you must remember, most of the people who made this music were very poor. This was their way of expressing what they lived and what they felt.
Some of the earliest blues voices arose from the Mississippi Delta at the turn of the century.
Delta started out as a swampy, mosquito-infested forest primeval. Nobody attempted to cut it down until about 1820 to 1824. The Delta was just too wet, and it used to flood all the time. But once it was drained and all this alluvial soil was bare, it became one of the most economically viable places in the country. And its best crop ever here was cotton.
One of the old quotes is, where did the blues come from? Most older black people simply say, cotton patches. If you worked in the cotton patches, you understood what oppression there was and what it was like to be second-class citizens, and it comes from work songs and field hollers.
They could sing songs about the work experience. For example, a song about a boss, big boss man. Can't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so big, you just tall, that's all. Actually, that's a hell of a social critique and commentary on that boss man. In other words, you working me long hours and paying me low wages, but I'll take it and make it into a song.
The word songs eventually made their way from the fields into growing Delta towns like Clarksdale. From there, they were picked up by traveling musicians who added their own influences and started playing for a buck.
The blues man came to town because you could play and make more money on the streets of Clarksdale playing your guitar in 2 or 3 hours at the depot than you could working in the cotton fields.
The thing about the original bluesmen of the Mississippi Delta is that they were solo artists. They had their guitar, maybe a backpack, you know, and they just traveled and hoboed around. It was just a very personable, one-on-one experience.
One of the most famous bluesmen who drifted through Clarksdale was Robert Johnson, often called the king of the Delta blues.
Son House is noted to say, that boy couldn't play guitar for nothing. And then he went away, and for a few years he comes back, and all of a sudden he could play guitar. I don't know what happened. Well, the legend has it that Robert Johnson learned how to play guitar from the devil on the crossroads.
If you stand at the crossroads, in the African mythology, there's a god called Legba. Legba wears a long black coat and has a real black hat, and you really can't see Legba's face. Now that story gets transferred into the Mississippi Delta, and one night, as Robert Johnson tells the story, he goes in Clarksdale, Mississippi to where the Highway 49 crosses the Highway 61. Robert Johnson meets the guy in the long black hat, hands him the guitar. The guy tunes the guitar with fire coming out of his hand, and he hands it back to Robert Johnson. And Robert Johnson takes that tuning, and from then on, Robert Johnson is one of the greatest soulful blues guitar men who've ever walked the earth.
Whether assisted by the devil or not, Johnson was one of a troupe of bluesmen who helped spread the Delta sound into places like Texas, Arkansas, and Tennessee throughout the 1930s and 40s.
Really, the Delta blues was like a regional folk music that wasn't known outside the Delta. And all of a sudden, people were hearing this music, and it kept evolving.
It was this migration of the music into cities that turned the blues from a raw country sound into something slicker and more up-tempo.
It continued on up the Mississippi, and then we had Muddy Waters, who left the Mississippi and took it to Chicago and plugged it into an electric guitar. And all of a sudden the music had something else to go with it. It had drums, and then they eventually had bass guitars. And then the British guys over in England picked up on this old music from Chess Records, and they eventually brought it back, and we all went, wow, this was our music?
I think we have become acutely aware now of our heritage. We had to be told about us by people who were looking at the forest. We were just too blinded by the trees.
Today, the blues comes in so many forms, it's hard to pin down. The one thing you can be sure of is the place where it began. I'm Francine Reed. In the next hour, we'll travel through the Delta and meet some blues masters who never left and who helped keep a vintage American sound alive today.
Woo-wee, it's hot, baby.
All right. Thank you. Work all the summer, and I work all the fall. Had to take my Christmas in my overhaul.
Blind Mississippi Morris and Jessie Mae Hemphill, two Mississippi natives and blues legends.
Because I'm sitting on top of the world.
Blow my eardrum down, baby. Blow my eardrum down.
Both came up the hard way.
Woo, woo.
Morris Cummings lost his sight at a young age.
Glaucoma as a child, when your family's, illiterate, they can't read and write, they don't, think much about you running into a pole. They think you're acting silly, By the time I got through hitting poles and stuff like that, somebody said, hey, that boy blind,
Morris, who is considered one of the finest harmonica players in the world, has blues in the blood. His cousins were members of the Mississippi Sheiks, and his aunt, Mary Tanner, played with the harps of melody. Another cousin was blues great Willie Dixon. For Morris, music has been as sharp an instinct as any other, and his abilities are all self-taught.
It's a natural feeling. It's just like the birds know when to fly north or south. They know. It's an instinct. You know?
Yeah, the geese know how to fly from north and south.
That's right.
Dog know when to bite.
That's right.
Morris has known Jessie May for years. For both, their earliest blues memories came from Theo's songs.
You remember that song, that Good Morning, Captain,
Yeah.
Good Morning, Child. Do you need a mule skinner? Working on your new mudline. Working on the good road, $1.50 a day.
Yeah, yeah.
A good gal waiting on Friday.
Yeah.
Just to draw my pay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to town, honey. What you want me to bring you back?
Some cheese and bologna.
Oh, a pint of booze and a brand new Stetson hat.
And going up.
Trainer coming, honey. Woo.
They think I'm shy and quiet, but I ain't shy and quiet a bit. Not now, ain't you? I got more nerve than a brass monkey. I stand up on top of a rich man's head and talk my stuff. White or black, blue or brown, I talk to you, baby, till the sun go down. I'm a talk. I'm like my granddad. I'm a talking soul.
Like Morris, Jessie May picked up the blues from musicians in her family. Among them, her grandfather, Sid Hemphill.
And my granddaddy, he could write anything. He could play anything. And I'd be sitting there with little old baby when I was a year and 2 years old, be sitting there, climb up there on his knee and sit up there and lay my head on his knee. Me and him sang together. That's so pretty. I loved it, him too.
I met Jessie May probably 25 years ago. And Jessie May played that guitar, and I said, man, look at him. This woman here can play the guitar. And for some reason down in the South, just didn't appreciate the blues. And go over to Europe, she was a real star. And then she'd come back home and she'd be back in her little old same slot. And so it's been going on in many generations.
Our history is our history, and it's not pretty. It isn't, because when I left here in 1955, it was white and colored. Drinking fountains, waiting rooms. You couldn't go to the movies unless you sat in the balcony and all that.
Did no black folk make no record then. Couldn't nobody make no record when the thing come out, but white people. White people could go and make them a record, but they wasn't hitting on nothing. They wasn't hitting on nothing as the record. It just didn't move nobody.
Jessie May finally got to make records, releasing two, She-Wolf in 1981 and Feeling Good in 1987.
Feeling good now. And I could make me one record and make me enough money like B.B. King to make me a house, get me a house and land. That's what I've been wanting all the time. That's what I started for in the blues. At the time I was in my blues making records and could play guitar really, really good. I decided I wouldn't play like Elmo James and Muddy Water. I said, I'm done got grown now, and them folks has done made the money off them records. I made the records all right, baby. Made a lot of money, but I didn't get none of it. So I never want to make another record.
A stroke in 1994 ended Jessie May's recording career.
Can't put the sound to my voices like I could before I had the stroke. And little singing I can do, I must sing it for him, for the Lord. God, if I sang for him, he'll save my soul. Swing low,
Swing low,
sweet cherry,
coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home.
Coming up on The Living Blues, Big Jack Johnson, a blues great who started with a little bit of country.
Your lady, ooh, your lady, oh, lady, ooh. Yes, my baby. Why don't it take me like a jet?
Big Jack Johnson was born in Lambert, Mississippi, and still lives in the Delta.
I would fall down on my knees and ask the Lord to forgive me for my sins.
His father played the acoustic guitar, and Big Jack plays acoustic and electric.
When I got with Big Jack, it was more or less being taught to be strong and powerful. Big Jack is a powerful player. He pretty much programmed a lot of that into me as a kid growing up, you know. There's things he could do with the guitar, man. If you ask him to do it again, he couldn't do it probably. But at that time, he's in a zone, you know.
As a boy, Big Jack recalls that country music was what he listened to on the radio. The blues wasn't played over the airwaves.
One day I was playing my guitar and just striking my guitar and trying to do like a Gene Autry and Hank Snow and all them other guys on TV, Hank Williams. She said, boy, I said, yes, ma'am, Mama. You know you can't do like those white folks on that radio. And you better stop all that noise out there. I said, I ain't doing nothing, Mom. I've been on the catch trying to like them white folks. No more, you hear me? Yes, ma'am.
Big Jack won his mama over with a display of unusual talent.
Your lady, ooh, your lady, oh, lady, ooh. She heard me yelling, who is that? I said, that's me, Mama. You mean you can yodel? She said, I'd have no more trouble out of my mama. And that make you feel so sad and blue.
But Big Jack's future was not in country music or in yodeling. He found his calling in the blues.
The blues is a religion. You can sing the blues and tears are going to come out your eyes. You start getting cold, your hair stand up on your arm, start getting chill bumps, you feel this thing in you. That's a religion. I can do it. I can make it come out of me, from God to me, from out of me to you. I can make you feel it. What happened to Soda Lake? Soda Lake, what happened to you?
I had the hardest time playing with Jack. It was hard to satisfy him. You had to have it just right, and I could never get it just right. He'd slap me around. You done it right. But I'm done it right.
But you glad today I snatched you around here.
Yes, sir.
For 32 years, Big Jack performed with Frank Frost and Sam Carr. The group played under 3 different names over the years, but finally settled on the Jelly Roll Kings. Like many local artists, Big Jack feels his blues is more appreciated overseas.
Mainly our dudes are European tourists, across the water. Oh man, I'd have a standing ovation every time I go across the water. They just love the way I do what I do. You heard about blues with a feeling, that's what I do. Blues with a feeling. You see the people around here growing up on this kind of music. You go to this jug joint, you're gonna hear mostly something the same thing I just did. You go down yonder, you're gonna hear something mostly the same thing I did. But over yonder, they never heard nothing like this. It's just completely different stuff.
Big Jack's other passion is fishing. He and his nephew, Super Chicken, try their luck at Lake DeSoto.
They call me a fishing musician, and I fish all the time. Oh, I fish so much sometimes. My wife told me, she said, Big Jack, you're gonna lose your mind. Yeah, it is. No, you got your kitchen. We're gonna take and put them in the truck. Ooh, that's good eating. Oh, I've been swimming this lake since I was about 12 years old. I could go every day if I could. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, nothing no better than fishing.
When we come back, down home with Super Chicken, a one-of-a-kind blues talent.
All my music is baked right in the kitchen. Just like Mama used to do the cakes, cook them from scratch. All my music is baked right in the kitchen. Yes, sir, homemade front porch music. We're gonna have a good time.
His name is James Johnson, but no one ever calls him that. They call him Super Chicken.
I used to be a real shy musician, and I was easily disencouraged. Matter of fact, I quit playing music for a long time because we had so many talented musicians around Clarksdale. Whenever they came out and played, and people would kind of like grin at me, laugh at me, and call my music, oh, clickety-clack music. So one day I made up my mind. I said, I'm gonna be who I am. You can be whoever you're trying to imitate.
Somebody shoot that thing. Super Chicken.
Super Chicken has been playing the blues since he was 19 years old. His nickname comes from being raised on a plantation where his family had chickens.
I would talk to the chickens, and chickens talk back to me, and I'd go around and tell people about it, you know. And they said, heck, I'm that old chicken boy lying on them chickens again. So they started calling me Chicken Boy.
He grew up not only surrounded by chickens, but by music too. One of his earliest experiences was playing the diddley bow, a wire instrument he attached to a barn. It was while playing the diddley bow that a well-dressed man approached him one day with big plans.
And I got outside this big barn, you know, and he said, play on it. I started playing on it, boom, boom, boom. He said, look, man, he scratched it. He said, you know what? He said, man, I could take you and this thing here out to Washington. He said, we'd be rich in a week's time. That's when I really had the blues. I couldn't figure out how I was gonna get that barn to Washington. I said, man, I want to be rich, you know, but I can't get this barn to Washington. I'm standing in the barnyard, thinking about my baby gone. That's when I got the blues, started writing about it, singing about it. Yes, I'm standing in the barnyard, cause the girl been gone so long. Well, she got me cackling with the rooster. Ain't neither one of us getting no comb.
Super Super Chicken developed his own style while playing juke joints with his uncle Big Jack Johnson. These days, he's known for putting on some of the most outrageous shows around.
When I first coming over here and we were trying to find a place to hang out, the place we found to hang out was Crossroads because Super Chicken was breaking the E string and picking the bandstand down.
Somebody shoot that thing.
Super Chicken's on it. He is on it.
But don't shoot my rooster because he don't crow like he used to.
Super Chicken's creativity isn't limited to the blues stage. At home, he's also a painter and folk artist. He's gotten a lot of attention for the guitars he makes out of gas cans.
Everything I do is different. I ain't sold a lot of art yet, mostly guitars. I've been doing a little art, trying to sell that. Funny art. So I got that guitar behind me there that I made from a gas can. I had it sitting on the stage and everybody was wondering about it. It's like, we want to hear the gas can. We want to hear the gas can. And some people didn't like, where'd you buy that at? I said, I made it. Can't nobody make nothing like that. I said, well, somebody had to make it if I bought it. If I bought it, somebody made it, Has it got gas in it? I said, no, it's loaded with the blues, though. There it is.
Super Chicken's blues have taken him all over the country and into parts of Europe to perform. The only spark he ever needed was the used guitar he bought at age 13.
I bought this guitar. It only had 2 strings on it. I thought that was all it's supposed to have, So I brought it home, man. Like, I was playing this 1-string dilly all the time, but now I got me a real guitar with 2 strings on it, man. I was all the way uptown. Once I found out you could put strings on that thing, man, it just came natural. Doing my thing, writing my music and creating my music, I said, I'll see how far a poor boy can get being himself. That's my motto.
Somebody shoot that thing. And I ain't playing to you either, baby.
My babe, I know she love me, my babe. Oh, yes, I know she
Coming up on the Living Blues,
babe. Oh, yes, I know she love me. She don't do nothing but kiss and hug me, my babe. Sweet little thing, my babe.
the last link to one of America's earliest forms of music.
I've been blowing a cane a long time. Now, out of all of this is somebody that I see can take the fight and do what I probably better than me. But I ain't run up on him yet. I went to the station. I looked down in the yard. I'm gonna catch me some freight train. Work done got hard, but now she gone, and I don't worry. Sitting on top of D1. Come on here.
Arthur Turner is one of Mississippi's last true original bluesmen. He's 95 years old and lives by himself on a farm in Gravel Springs, Mississippi.
Come here, girl. Come here. Come on. Then what you do is how you do.
Turner makes and plays the fife, an instrument whose roots twist back to the Civil War and before that, Africa.
Arthur Turner, last living first-generation master of the cane fife. The fife and drum music from Mississippi, it's a miracle that it still exists. Back in the old days in Africa, fife and drum music was funeral procession music that they would march to and from the burying ground. It's just this as real as you could possibly get. And Arthur can still blow. thing about Other that's so great is that he has a whole farm. He raises his own livestock and his own vegetables. He milks his own cow and drinks the milk every day. I think that's maybe a secret to his longevity. He still lives the old-fashioned life.
Other Turner was born in 1907. He discovered the fife by accident when, as a teenager, he saw an old man playing an instrument he'd never seen before.
What you looking at, son? I said, I'm looking at you blowing that thing. What is that? He said, a fife. I said, will you make me one of them things? Well, he made me a fife. About 2 weeks after, they said, Other, I said, sir. He said, come here. I run up there. He said, here, your fife. I said, what are you? He said, nothing. He said, I'm getting this fight if you blow it. If you don't blow it, you ain't gonna blow it. I said, well, I'm gonna try. He said, that's the best word you said. Try it. He said, if you tried, you gonna blow it. And I did. I makes my own fights. I've made, I don't know how many I ain't made. That's the end of one right there.
Well, I've seen Other Turner make his fifes, and first you have to go into the bottoms and find the right type of bamboo cane. You know, it has to be aged correctly, it has to be the right width, it has to be matured. So he'll go out and chop his cane and dry it out, and then he'll build a fire.
And people get too far here to dry that other down there. What we put in there?
Other can do anything in his backyard. You know, he's got his anvil, he's got his winch, you know, he's got everything hidden back in his little sheds out there. So Other builds a fire and heats up a piece of iron, a stick. And he bores the joint out with the hot iron, and then he puts his finger holes in there. And that's it. You know, that's a bamboo cane Mississippi fife. As Other says, you know, you can fish with it, you can back a chair with it, but to play music on it, you gotta know how to blow.
Fire's blowing, it ain't no easy thing. I liked it, and I wanted it, and that's why I did it. Any time that you want to do something, you can do it. But if you never try, you ain't gonna try. Don't nothing make a failing but a try. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. No more groaning, no more praying, when I lay my burden down. No more groaning, no more praying, when I lay my burden down. Yes, sir, I've been blowing a cane a good while. I ain't found my match yet. That's right. But one, I give it to her, my little granddaughter, Sade. She can blow. So I made her a fight. Sade, sir, I done made your cane, baby. Thank you, Granddaddy. What do I say? Nothing. Just blow the cane, baby.
Sade, she's got her own style. She writes her own songs on the fife, and her brothers and cousins, they play behind her, and they're gonna keep it alive. He's so proud. He's like, I'm glad somebody picked it up.
My notion about it, if anything happened to me, I get so I can't play, Sade gonna be the one. She said she gonna do like Granddaddy. That's right.
When we return,
hit it in right there. There you go, that's it.
Who's keeping the blues alive today?
I got my mojo working, but it just won't work on you.
Here it is. Here's a way to keep this music alive through our young people.
If you're looking for the blues today, you can find it right where it started, in the Delta. This is Ground Zero, a blues club in Clarksdale opened by none other than Morgan Freeman, who lives nearby.
So you're gonna have a place where people are really jamming, you know. The whole point of it is to keep it down. Just keep it down, keep it at a level where, you know, people can just fall up in and have a good time, not worry about anything else.
Freeman's Club is part of the ongoing effort to keep blues music vital. It's a hard sell in the age of mass-produced pop, and the toughest audience to reach is blacks themselves.
And it's something a lot of us as black people, and it's our heritage, that we run away from. Most black people don't want to have nothing to do with what his ancestors was once a part of.
Some people feel like they don't need to write it no more, but that's your roots. How can you not?
The hip hop and a lot of that is just taking over, so I try to get my friends to listen to it. I'm like, that's old people's music. I'm like, no, it's not.
When I was a young girl, at the age of 5, my mother told me I'd be the greatest woman alive.
Benicia Young, a 19-year-old guitarist from Clarksdale, is one musician trying to get young blacks on board.
We play Muddy Waters, Robert Johnson, Bobby Blue Bland. We go from old blues to more of the modern blues. Mostly I try to inspire young people by my playing so we can keep it going from generation to generation, because the blues is the roots of our music. And I think if everything else is kept alive, then we should keep the blues alive too.
One way to keep the blues alive is to make sure the next generation gets a chance to hear it. The Atlanta Blues Society does just that. The ABS is one of several groups around the country who sponsor Blues in the Schools, a program that brings musicians into classrooms.
I got my mojo working. I got my mojo working, but it just won't work on you.
Once they hear it, they love it. Because you must remember, kids also like to be told stories. So if you can develop a blues of, I got the homework blues, or my teacher's mean to me today blues, and have them write blues stories or play harmonicas or blues instruments, kids seem to just identify with the music.
In Clarksdale, musician Mike James runs a similar education program, only he trains students year-round at their own pace.
I tell them I'm like Captain Kirk. I don't care if they're green. If they want to learn, come on in.
Almost. Do it again. Hit it in right there. There you go. That's it.
But I always start them off on drums or bass guitar because they need to have a sense of rhythm and the time. You know, the drummer is just like the clock. When they graduate from my class, they usually can play every instrument in there.
It teach me how to be professional and just don't get scared on stage. If you freak out, people will notice it.
Now wait a minute.
I've taught over 600 students. Music to me is just like a 440 relay. I run so far, then I pass this torch off to someone else, and now you take it a little further.
I think the young people could learn more from the lyrical content of the old blues. Learn something from the soul of it. It's not just guitar licks. It's not just a 1-4-5 ABA structure. The blues is inside of all of us. It's about personal expression and learn how to personally express oneself. And something that we don't really realize, we're losing a lot of great people. And I don't know who's really stepping up to take up the slack. There are still some great players, but who's going to be the great statesman like B.B. King? He's played for kings and queens and presidents and everybody. Who's going to be that dignified and beautiful?
There are many musicians today hoping to step up and carry on the traditions of the old guard. Shamika Copeland is one of them. At 23, the daughter of bluesman Johnny Copeland is on her third album and deflecting comparisons to Aretha.
I don't do Aretha Franklin songs, you know. Aretha Franklin's already done Aretha Franklin songs, and I won't even touch them. I guess now I'm just trying to be Shamika. I'm sort of kind of stealing, you know, things away from all of them and try to put together my own style.
Besides Copeland, the North Mississippi All-Stars is another act shouldering great expectations. The Grammy-nominated group is fronted by two brothers, also with roots in the blues.
The Dickinson boys, their father, Jim Dickinson, was a famous record producer and musician from the 60s and 70s who helped keep this music alive, and they've just carried on their father's work.
As musicians in our community, I think it's our responsibility to keep the traditions alive as the older guys have taught us. And you grow up as a kid and you want to be a musician. It's such an open-ended ambition, you know? I mean, you can't go to school for it. You can't just get a job doing it. You just have to study and learn and hang out and try and make your own way. I don't know where it's going to take me, but I know that we're going to keep on playing.
It's not a music that's dead to them. I think that's what it's kind of about, is to make people understand it's not just this primitive, old, rigid music. There's a whole wider spectrum to it. It's something you want to see for your own heritage, for your own self-worth, I think.
We're all born to it, you know. I don't know how to really express it because it's just being a part of something great, I guess, you know.
But I am glad for the attention that the blues is getting. Although I did read an article a few months ago that said blues is not alive anymore. It's never going away.
I don't think blues is going anyplace. No form of music that we know of dies. It goes around. I think it's not only is it still here, but it ain't going away.
It's like classical music or jazz music. It's going to last for hundreds and hundreds of years. We'll always know who Beethoven is, all the time. You know? And I think we will always know who Muddy Waters, B.B. King, we're always going to know them names.
It's hard to say how and where it's all going to end. Hopefully it never will. If we allow this music and this history to die, to go away, to be torn down, covered up, and we lose a very large part of our American heritage. I mean, this music and the lifestyle that created it, it speaks to a lot of America's history. Coming into the Delta and, dealing with the hardships of, again, the heat, the mosquitoes, the flooding. It's a microcosm, I think, of American history to me, and I don't want this to go away. It's kind of like a long lost relative, and you feel it, you know it, and you just want to drink it all in.
Hear this song, hear Paul Boy, yo. Hear Paul, on the brazos now, bomb ball, wheel butter on the brazos now. With the number one bugging, number two round, no bomb ball. With number two round, number three is her, the pool does round, bomb ball, wheel. The pool does ground with number four horn. The pool does ground, bomb ball, wheel butter with the pool does ground, wheel. Oh, you give a wheel, oh. Yeah. Well, Lord, oh yeah. Hit roll, my hometown friends at Highway 6 and her now. Messing with that long arm law, way still gonna win the draw. Bomb way still gonna win the draw now. Messing with that long arm law, way still gonna win the draw. Bomb still gonna win the draw. Bomb way still gonna win the draw. Bomb way still gonna win the draw. Yeah. Oh boy. Dead right.